Welcome to Cool Ranch Corner,
Oh.
episode 36.
Oh. Oh man.
So, how's life this week, little
Uh
bro?
it's been interesting. So work is work and the, dude, the place that I'm in, like, I swear people act like they're in like a high school cafeteria. They just say like the most goofy stuff all the time, and it's honestly like that's one of my favorite parts about that job. It's just the people. Like, they're just it's rare. Usually, most jobs, it's like the people will make or break the place you're at, and usually people at your job suck. Like, if you have a good relationship with the people that you work with, every day is just a good day. So,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my hair right now. I took a nap and it's like all weird looking. Um, yeah, no, I got one interesting thing to touch on, but it's I have to be very vague.
did you poop your
Did I
pants?
talk about? No, did I talk about? Did I talk about this acting role I was auditioning for?
I don't know if you talked about it on the podcast. We talked about it a little bit with me.
Okay. Well, I signed an NDA, so I literally can't say much, but I got to the chemistry read, so it's for a feature film.
Explain that process.
So,
So, the what
yeah.
stage is the chemistry you read?
Well, we have so one of the topics I noted was job interviews versus acting auditions, so I can get into it more later. But I let me just briefly talk about this so I can like say my little piece about it and then move on from that specific thing because I like I said I signed an NDA, so I don't want to say too much about that specific situation. But I think it went really well. So uh, later this year, if things went as well as I think they did and everything works out, then there is a month later this year where I may be on a film set for a lead role, like for like a full 3 weeks, and that's gonna be a first. So hope I can say more soon, but who knows? I literally will have to ask before I say anything else. So, but acting is going well. People always ask me, how's the acting going? It's going. I'll talk about the acting auditioning process a little more later, but other than that, this week, Baby's making a lot more oohs and ahs, so that's interesting.
A lot more oohs and ahs.
No, seriously, like if you, it's to the point where if you like mimic it back to her, she like responds, and I'm like, that's something, like that's brain development. That's crazy. Seeing like a little human being
Well,
start to,
that's the thing. Like, I know, um, just like, so for context, so our sister has kids of her own, right? And she's always been very fascinated by that process of seeing them, like, start to turn into people. And like, obviously, I haven't experienced that yet. I'm not even close to the idea of having kids yet. Like, that's so far beyond for me. But like, now that you're getting to see that, right? Like, we're from the very beginning. That's cool. Like, I'm sure that that's
yeah.
a fun
I mean, when
process.
when I met Theo, he had like just turned 2, and he wasn't really talking yet. Like
Hmm.
he would make noises and stuff like that, but it was a lot of jibber jabber. And I think because of the thing that happened in the world, I gotta be careful. YouTube don't like that stuff, man. I think because of that, a lot of kids his age are behind when it comes to speech development because they just didn't interact with people outside their household. You know what I mean? Like everybody speaks differently. Um, Kids pick up on different speech patterns, and it's weird. Like people have different vocabularies, for instance. Like they
Hmm.
get exposed to different words when they talk to other people, and not only that, since I was always making content or streaming, my interaction with him outside of like making videos with him, it got gradually better, and then now I interact with him all the time because I have better control of my time. But it's one of those things where I'm like, damn, I wish I could have gone back and like just talked to him more, even if he couldn't respond very well yet. Because like when they start out, they can only say like one or two words at a time, and then now he could say, full on like compound sentences and stuff. But yeah, that's been one of the things that he's behind in is like speech development. So that's been interesting. And so it's going to be interesting to see how her speech development goes, because we're more aware of that, I feel like. But I guess unless you have anything else you want to talk about from this week, we can move on to the next topic.
Well, do you want to talk about the audition thing now? Like as far as like that's
Maybe after this next thing, 'cause it's kind of like a. I'll just go into it. So I looked at the comments from last week's episode, and I think I saw like 4 people say they would support a Patreon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a comment on this episode, and it's going to say, like this comment if you would subscribe to the Patreon for $1 or more, and if we have 10 likes, we'll get it up and going. Like it's basically like our signal to launch it.
mm-hmm.
So, because I don't want to do it if nobody's going to support it. It's just like, I don't know. I want it like a solid 10 people that we can actually like do giveaways with and stuff on there before we do it, or else it's just going to be like, yeah, we have a Patreon and nobody's in there. I checked the Discord, the old one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe we should shut it down, but it's literally just like the same person there every day.
Well, yeah, there's
like
one
every
guy,
other day.
and
Hello, everyone.
So there's one guy who would always post in there, and he'd be like, "Happy Tuesday, Happy Wednesday, Happy
Like
Thursday,"
a meme or something.
yeah, and I'm like, dang,
Poor
I would always feel bad because it was like consistent.
I
It was,
had no
like,
clue.
every day, right?
I had no clue.
And I don't think I'm in the Discord anymore. I think I left, pretty sure, because I'm not a moderator anymore, so I don't need to mess with
Yeah.
it. But I
I
remember,
think we should like delete it.
yeah, I mean, well,
delete it.
I think it's.
You think I can? Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna start a new one, and it's literally gonna be
Just for
like,
this stuff.
yeah, like Cool Ranch Corner Discord or whatever.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and that's the thing that kind of sucks with the way that old Discord was set up. It was like pretty much anyone could join, right? And so it was like people. This is the thing that always happens. People will join a server, and then they'll like use it for like 2 weeks, and then they'll leave, and then it's like they won't even necessarily
Yeah.
leave the server. They just don't talk in it, and so you have like 400 members in a server, and only like 1% of them actually talk. And it's like,
So,
well,
like,
dang, dude, there's like 4 dudes having a
Statistically, somebody
conversation.
in there's probably not even alive anymore. at this point.
But yeah, that's the thing that really sucks. It's like unless you have people who are genuinely like interested in the topic of that server, it's like you tend to not really have
Yeah.
interaction, and it's like people move on, people have lives and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And most of the people who joined that server joined back during like 2020, 2021, right? And so they lots
Yeah.
happened since then. So yeah, it really
So
sucks.
yeah, this Discord would literally be like a private Discord that you
Yeah.
have to be subscribed to the Patreon to access. So it's not going to be for anybody, because if the whole idea is that we want to be able to interact with you guys in there, and if there's 1,000 people right off the rip, that's going to be very hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean I don't know. I'm willing to commit to this podcast because I just think it's a good way to spend some time with my brother in the first place, but also like it's just, I don't know, it's a fun way to hang out and be more personal with the audience, and like I said, I respond to those comments, or I at least acknowledge them. Sometimes people are just like, first, I don't know what to say to that shit, but
notice me,
Yeah, like-
notice me.
but I mean, we could literally do like hangouts and stuff if we get enough people.
That's actually
to do
true.
that,
Yeah. And I mean, even just like
But-
if there's you know what a big one would be? So
we gotta move on to the next topic soon. But
so Call of Duty zombies, there's gonna be a zombies mode for this next one. Even things like that, like little group games, if we could
yeah,
set up
hop on.
times where
I
you
will
can
get
play.
I will get the game just to play with the Discord party, okay? I can only do that with like one game because I don't have time to play all these games. But I will do it with Call of Duty because Call of Duty has always been a communal experience for me, at least.
Yeah.
Like I feel weird playing Call of Duty by myself. I just feel like it's not the same,
Oh
you know?
no,
Like
dude, I get
it's always
sweaty.
about hanging out with
I
friends.
play by myself and I get sweaty, and then I start like slamming my desk and stuff because people are using shotguns. It's just yeah, it that's just how I play.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to play with Chris because when you play multiplayer with Chris, he just complains stuff.
It's like, what
Like,
the heck? I'm
literally-
behind the wall. He shot me anyways. The freaking ping. It's so bad.
When is the Black Ops 6 reveal? Is it like
June 9th, I think.
okay? So next episode we will talk about the reveal. We will
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
But
because
let's
that's this weekend, isn't it? Sunday.
yeah, yeah,
That'll be
yeah,
interesting. Hopefully it doesn't
yeah. I mean,
suck.
we could honestly we could record us reacting to it and then post it. Cause why not?
I'm down.
Um, what a game? I mean, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll talk. Well, this is not the place to discuss how we're gonna strategically do things, but let's talk about something more interesting. Taco Bell's Cheez-It menu drops tomorrow.
Okay, let me look it up because I don't know the.
I tried the tostada today for a video. I have not tried the crunch wrap, and I will tell you right now, it was good, but just get the damn crunch wrap. The tostada was like, it felt like I had 3 bites and it was gone. It's so small. Like,
Well, that's the thing, dude. So Taco Bell, honestly, like, so if you guys don't know, I'm a picky guy. Okay, I'm very particular about my food, and so like when I go to Taco Bell, I get like some nachos and a quesadilla or two, and I put the nachos in the quesadilla, and then I dip it into the nacho cheese because that's like the only way I can actually get something that fills my stomach up from Taco Bell. Because otherwise, it's like I keep hearing they have sand in the meat. I don't know if that's true. I don't
no,
think it
that is not true. What is true is if you get you're like, yeah, when do I ever get beans? But their beans are like refried beans, but then they throw oats in there, and the oats soak up like the moisture, and they have the same texture as beans, and nobody realizes that they're oats. It's like oatmeal beans. But if I tell you, I'm telling you right now, if you took a bite out of that, you'd be like, yeah, that's beans. Like you cannot tell.
Aren't the cinnamon twist things they have? Isn't that just like pasta?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think everybody does that.
I didn't know that until I started working at Best Buy. Like somebody came in and like we were talking about.
They're supposed to come out with Baja Blast ones later this year. Like dusted with
Really?
Baja Blast. They're coming out with the Baja Blast gelato for a limited time. They're coming out with the Baja Blast pie. Like they are fully committing to Baja Blast.
I don't see. Okay, it's like the didn't they have like Mountain Dew flavored Doritos at one point? Or
They have some right now, but it's like fiery mango. I like them. Bobby didn't
See,
like them. They
that's-
taste like
that's-
candy because they're like soda. It's sweet.
That's the thing. If I'm gonna eat something, unless it's literally candy, right? I don't want it to be candy like. So like if I get a cinnamon twist, right? It's like, oh, that's a dessert, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
But if someone's like, "Oh, you want Warhead flavored cereal?" I'm like, "Are you serious? Like what are we doing here, dude?"
They're coming out with chicken nuggets soon.
What, Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Well, see, I'd never had the chicken. Was it chicken tenders that they had at one point? I never had them.
They had chicken wings and they were really
Chicken
good.
wings.
Have you tried the nacho fries?
No.
You got to try those. I think you would actually like those.
I mean, I don't think I wouldn't.
They have a large now. They came out with a large like last time they came out. They're back right. They're back right now. Like you can get.
Oh,
them
they're
right now.
limited time thing. That's the thing, though. So
They're trying to make it year round. Apparently there's a supply issue, but they're hoping to work it out by next year.
Well, so when it
They
comes
did
to
like a full on event, man.
I heard about that. It was sort of like an Apple keynote, but for Taco Bell, which was an interesting concept. to me.
Genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
Because you know, speaking of like fast food places, McDonald's is doing a thing. I think is it this month where you can get like a $5 value meal. Did you hear about that?
Oh yeah. They're trying to get people to come back because everybody's like, "Oh, Big Mac costs $12."
Dude, a Big Mac has like
Big
gone
Mac meal is like
yeah. Because I think they were saying like you used to be able to buy like, for if you work 1 hour, right? From the wage that you would get like 20 years ago, you could buy like I think it was like 4 Big Macs, right? And now if you work an hour at minimum wage, you can buy a Big Mac. So it's like the cost of a Big Mac versus the amount of money that you make, it doesn't
Well,
match anymore.
it depends on the state you live in.
Oh,
What's the minimum
absolutely.
wage where you are?
I want to say it's like 13.50 or something like that in Arizona.
Yeah, I want to say it's like 11 something here.
Really? Well, you know the federal
Yeah,
minimum wage is still like eight
Arizona's.
bucks.
Yeah, no, the federal minimum wage is the reason why it's like messed up in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I am so frustrated with the housing market. The housing market, it has to collapse soon, right? Like, how
You
is
would
it
hope
sustainable?
so.
Nobody wants to buy the houses that are on the market because they're too expensive. Nobody can sell their houses because nobody wants to pay for them. But at the same time, the amount of houses that are on the market is so limited that people are coming in from more expensive states and buying the houses in cheaper states. So there's just like a supply and demand, like it's completely flipped right now.
Yeah.
So like the people who actually live in their state can't afford the houses that are in their state. We can, but we're hoping that, you know, something that hopefully the market will correct itself or something soon. Because I mean, I would hate to buy a house for like 400 grand and then, like, you know, a year or two later it's worth 250 or
Well, and
300
that's
because
the
there's a
thing.
crash.
So that's what stopped me from wanting to buy a house is like I know it's going to go down. Like it has to. And interest rates aren't okay, let me say this right now. So interest rates compared to where they were like a few years ago are bad, right? But I think is it like the 70s or the 80s where they had interest rates that were as high as like 18% or some crap like that. Like it used to be a lot worse, right? But
Yeah,
it's
like
still not
it's
ideal
been
right
this
now.
bad before.
Yeah. So it's like there's a couple different things that just make getting a house kind of
Mm,
a bad decision right now. But
yeah,
it's like
we just renewed our lease, so we're staying here for like another year and a half.
yeah, and I mean I just started living in this apartment like what 2 weeks
Well,
ago or something like that. So
because the other option is like rent a house, and a house with this, like a house that's comparable to this apartment, like size wise, except, you know, obviously it has a yard and a front yard and stuff,
mm,
so there's more square footage. Um, and maybe it's 2 stories, so there's like an extra living room or a basement or some shit, right? There's always like extra things that come with houses. To rent one is like 4 grand. 4 grand
what
a
the
month.
heck,
Yeah.
dude?
To rent
You're
like a
just
house
paying
that would
their
be worth it is
mortgage.
4 grand.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
That's what real estate investment is. Like you
Yeah.
buy a property and then you make whoever lives there pay for it.
Yeah, and I don't know. And that's what's lame. It's like
Because our rent here is like I think before utilities it's like 2049, I want to say.
well, for
It's not
me
bad.
with utilities it's like 1100. So, and that's the one thing that
For a
sucks about
studio, right? This is a three
yeah.
bedroom.
Yeah,
Too
see,
bad.
so and that's the thing. I was gonna get a 1 bedroom, and then the lady that was like showing us around, she was like, yeah, so it's like 1300, and I was like, okay, it's more than I was paying before, but you know, it's
Worth it.
nicer apartment. And she goes, and it's just you, and I'm like, yeah. She goes, why don't you just get a studio? And I kind of sat there and I was like,
That's what I did when I was in San Fran.
well, and
No,
that's the thing. So my old apartment was a 1 bedroom, and I never used the living room. Like that area just went untouched. Like I never went in there unless I was like putting groceries away. Like I was just bringing them up. That's like the only time I was ever in there. I never had a reason to. And so with the studio, it's like I use the entire space, right?
yeah.
And it's more comparable to what I was paying before. Plus, I have my in-unit washer and dryer. The only thing that sucks about having an apartment, in my opinion, is you don't have a garage. And some apartments do have that. But if I had a garage, I would love it. Like I would probably just say screw it and like not even buy a house until like I really was ready to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to get into specifics about my place because I don't want people to start like searching it up and stuff. But
That's fair.
yeah, no, I mean, there's pros and cons, you know. But I mean, apartments, like if you're trying to save for a house, you can find an apartment and save a lot of money that way. But like renting a house right now seems like probably one of the dumbest decisions you can make.
Dude, and
'Cause you're paying double what you would with an apartment.
I wanted to get a condo, right? Because
It's going towards nothing.
I was like, if I got a condo, at least like you know, it wouldn't. I could like actually like own the place, and it wouldn't cost nearly as much month to month compared to renting a place, right? And I was like, I could save a lot of money that way. But every condo here is like not taken care of. They're like, oh, it's 40 grand, but we want it cash. And it's like, dude, for this piece of crap, are you serious? Like I remember there was a picture where there was just like
Here you go.
literally there was like the paint was peeling off the walls and there was like empty soda bottles and garbage bags in the pictures they were showing, and I'm like, Really? Like, you couldn't have just thrown that away and then taken the pictures? Like, put your best foot forward at the very least. But this is sad, right? And they're like, we want cash. Are you stupid? Like, what are you doing, man?
That sounds sketchy.
Yeah, dude. Like I don't know, and I'm like, and I bet you
Cash or drugs. Cash,
like, yeah, cash or cocaine.
Gas or ass.
Yeah, but it's
or was it cash, grass, or ass?
yeah, something like that. But it's so stupid, man. And it's like, that place probably has roaches, but they don't have any pictures of that because otherwise, like, okay, that's the thing, right? If they're showing that place in the state that it's in and it's already that bad, right? Imagine what they aren't showing you, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you go there, there's probably roaches, there's probably some hobo living in the back. Like, it's I don't know, man. It's just that really frustrated me, and when I was talking to mom about it, even she was like, yeah, you don't want that. Like, don't. It's not worth it. Like, yes, you would be able to
Yeah.
own a place and you would probably have more space, but it's not a good deal as far as like having to pay 40 grand cash. It's like, oh great, now I'm broke, right?
I mean, you could get a loan,
Well,
like half of it or something,
yeah, I guess suppose that's
But then you're
true.
paying a loan, and it's
Yeah.
like it's basically like paying rent to yourself.
Yeah,
But I mean, you I don't know, man. Take your shit sandwich,
yeah, and especially for a place like that, it's like, dude, I'll give you $5 and a Happy Meal for it. Like, really, dude? Like, there's just no point. Why would you put garbage in the pictures of the place that you're selling? That's so brain dead, dude. It's just stupid.
So I think we should move on to our next topic. With the recent announcement and confirmation from Adam Sandler himself that Happy Gilmore 2 is greenlit at Netflix.
Whoa.
I wanted to talk about unnecessary film sequels. We do not need a Happy Gilmore 2. We don't need it. Why?
That's fair. I'm trying to think of, like, for starters, you want to talk about unnecessary sequel? The entire sequel trilogy from Star Wars. It was
I don't
fine.
even want to talk about
It was fine the way that it was. They make the sequel trilogy and it sucks. Like, the first movie had some potential. Second movie was just off the walls. Third movie was like, guys, the house is on fire. Let's just put it out. I don't care what the house looks like afterwards. Just put it out, right? And so then they're like,
The diarrhea's got to go somewhere. It's
did-
going into this toilet,
'cause
and then we're gonna flush.
I
I can't
like
just not talk about it anymore.
it's like the thing is they could fix it. They really could. What they would have to do is just go, hey, that sequel trilogy was an alternate timeline. We're gonna do a different sequel trilogy, and hopefully it turns out good, right? That's the only thing they could try, right? And I think then they would get the fans back, maybe. But
There was this
leaving it the
film
way that
guy
is
that
just so bad, dude.
this film guy that I know who would always be like, "Did you hear? They're retconning it or whatever. Retconning it. They're gonna reset." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, they confirmed." I'm like, "Who confirmed this? I don't see shit." Like, and he was like, "Yeah, no, it's happening. They're just gonna pretend like it didn't happen." I'm like, and then they announced that they're doing another Ray trilogy or whatever. Or a Ray movie, whatever.
But are they really? What's it called?
I don't know. The imposter Skywalker. I don't know.
I don't know.
That was such a. I was like, yeah. I remember sitting in the theater just going, "Fuck this movie."
Well, and see, so the thing is, it was
Palpatine
like,
just shows up and dies.
but my favorite part is, do you remember? Do you remember how they announced it?
No,
No?
I've literally
Dude,
tried to like
they-
delete that whole experience.
They
from my
announced
memory.
it in Fortnite, of all things. That was how they revealed it. That was, if you wanted to find out that Palpatine was coming back, you had to go and play Fortnite, right? That is the dumbest thing that, like, most people who are playing Fortnite, they don't really care about Star Wars. Like you have probably a good chunk of people who do care about it, right? But it's people who already care about Star Wars, right? They don't necessarily need to be introduced to it. I don't think anybody who was playing Fortnite and saw that Palpatine was back was like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing ever. I need to go and get into this series." Like only the people who already cared about Star Wars cared about Palpatine coming back. That's it. That's it. It was a
Dude,
dumb move.
I doubt T Dog Smitty's gonna see this, but he's a old streamer buddy that I've lost contact with. I've lost contact with a lot of streamer people. The only one that I interact with every once in a while is like, I guess Benjamin's.
Speaking of Benjamin,
Bill,
I see that guy's gifs so many times on Instagram, dude.
yeah,
He has infected Instagram, and I'm very proud of him for it.
yeah, good for him. I talked to Billa. He's a G Fuel guy. I saw Duckaja re-signed with G Fuel, so
Oh, nice.
hell yeah, welcome back to the good side. And then was it Jordy? I talk to Jordy all the time. Poor Jordy. I don't think he's back yet, but his father passed away, so he
Oh,
taking a little break from stuff.
yeah, that's
Um,
rough. Shout out
Doubt
to
he's seeing
Jordy.
this either, but yeah, love you, Jordy. Yeah, my thoughts, brother. Yeah, no, T Dog Smitty. Every time I would like have him on my Creators Unite podcast or whatever, I would always give him shit because he had a Rise of Skywalker poster behind him, and I think he still has it up. I was like, take that shit down. What are you doing,
Well,
man?
and see, I have so many issues with how they handled that last movie because it was like basically they it's like they almost pretended that the second movie didn't happen in a way. Like there were certain things they picked out, right? And then it was like they just started doing random crap like, okay, we gotta like have some sort of finale, and it's like, okay, so the bad guy is good now, and they're fighting against this bad guy from the old movies, and then at the end of it, Rey has a yellow lightsaber, and she puts the lightsaber she had before in the middle of the desert for no reason. It's like, what is the significance of that?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Star Wars.
I'm just gonna get
Such a-
mad. I'm
such
just
an
gonna get
abomination.
angry.
I had something on the top of my head and I lost. Another reason why I wanted to talk about it is because Seth Rogen and I think Evan Goldberg, the guys who made like all the Seth Rogen movies, they came out and officially said no Pineapple Express 2, no Superbad 2. Those are being untouched. And I'm like,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's fair.
Although I feel like a sequel to those movies wouldn't really work today.
Oh, that's fair.
R-rated comedies just, I mean, making an R-rated comedy is such a like valiant effort, but I mean they just, I mean, you're lucky if they break even.
Well, because even
know?
like, what was it? This Is the End. That one. That
God, I
that
love that
movie
movie.
is so funny, but it's like, yeah, there's certain things where I'm like, that wouldn't fly at all. Like,
Well, I just for some reason people just like turned on R-rated comedies. They're just not
I think it's because of
very marketable anymore.
I think it's because of Grown Ups. The movies, the Grown Ups
Because
movies.
those were PG-13.
Were they?
Yeah.
Well, really?
Yeah. Very
Wow.
raunchy PG-13 movies, right?
Wow. Okay. Then maybe.
Yeah, but
I know those movies.
I don't know,
people were
man.
like tired of seeing them though, because like it was literally just Adam Sandler and like his friends.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like the first one was decent. The second one is just like a movie full of cameos. Like all it is. I like the Halloween party stuff where everybody's wearing like, different Halloween costumes and stuff. You got like who's it, like Shaq? Shaq is just there.
Oh.
I forgot what he's dressed up as.
Dude.
But
y-
we got to wrap up this topic because I got to do the ad break. But yeah, Happy Gilmore 2. I don't see how they can do that without making it even more ridiculous. And the concept is already ridiculous.
That's
to
the
begin with.
thing. I don't know with Adam Sandler. Like, I don't know what he wants as far as his career goes because like he's already won, right?
Yeah, no,
But,
that guy's rich
like
as hell.
it's like he'll do a movie like Uncut Gems, right? And it's like, holy crap, this guy can act. And then Grown Ups 17.
Ridiculous 6.
Yeah, like
Um,
just Jesus Christ, dude.
Huey Halloween or whatever. So bad.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, people watch it. That's the thing. People watch it. They're like, they're always the #1 movie on Netflix for like a month or whatever.
But and I
Um,
mean, and as far as like, if okay, this is the question I will pose, and this after this we'll move on.
move
If
on.
there was if there was an Adam Sandler comedy that you would want a sequel to, what would it be?
Oh, I would have to think about all the different Adam Sandler movies there are. I feel like a sequel to Big Daddy wouldn't work.
Agreed.
Maybe Mr. Deeds, but I just
Is that,
I don't
is that the
know.
one where like one of his feet is like frostbitten?
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah,
got the
so
black foot.
the
It's
other
just
foot
like
gets frostbitten. That's the sequel. Can't walk anymore.
I'm very, very sneaky, sir.
Yeah, that yeah, I don't know. I
Can I
mean,
change your socks?
cause cause there's so many. There's what is there like three Grown Ups movies or something like that? Like I don't.
There's two.
There's two. I wouldn't want a third one then.
Um, Click. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Most of his movies are not made to have a sequel. They're just not. But he said he wouldn't do Happy Gilmore 2 unless there was a good story. So we'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to be surprised. But all right. Quick ad break. Again, we do not have the Patreon up yet, but use G Fuel code Danny D, guys. G Fuel. I drink it every day. I just had some of the G Fuel protein powder today. I had it in hot milk, and it tasted just like a freaking latte. It was delicious. They just restocked Hype Sauce Hydration,
Ooh,
which is
yes.
phenomenal. So get you some of that. I saw they also have Blue Bomber Slushy in stock. Last time I checked, it might not be anymore, but the
I need
hydration is delicious.
I need more of
Blue
that.
Bomber Slushy hydration.
That is Blue Bomber slushy, hype sauce, and then shiny splash. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, I'm
dude.
telling you, the new Atari 2600 Plus flavor, it tastes like a red gusher. It is delicious, delicious.
What? Okay, yeah, I'll have to try that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
but
Well, just for some
10 to 30% off.
extra Dorito family lore. Our dad is like obsessed with the stuff. Like
Oh,
back when
G Fuel? Yeah, my
yeah
dad loves G Fuel.
yeah like I'm telling you, like his
Our
collection.
dad.
Yeah, his collection was like insane. That guy drinks it at work, and like
He
he'll
doesn't.
come.
He's never been a coffee guy, so I was
No, he's
surprised.
not. Yeah, like it. The fact that our dad, who usually when he tries stuff, he goes, "Oh, it's all right." The fact that he is like constantly drinking stuff, that tells you, it's good. It's dad approved. It's Dorito dad
No
approved.
crash, man. I'm telling you. I've had other energy drinks, and usually I feel. Yeah, I feel my energy dip after a while, and with G Fuel, it's a smooth energy. I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored. Like I literally would not. I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'm not gonna try and sell you something I wouldn't buy myself or use myself. And I'm telling you, G Fuel, best energy drink on the planet. It's clean. There's all this bullshit about like lead. That was a California Proposition 65 case or whatever. It was basically like, oh, if you're gonna sell your product here, you got to put the cancer label on it because everybody does. And guess what happened? All the other energy drink companies took it and ran. It's literally like the tobacco company going after vapes. Okay, they don't like competition, and so
Yeah,
yeah.
and
And
it's
I mean, it's one of those things where that rumor is always just gonna be there because people are stupid.
it's the same crap as like there's times where I think they used to put that label on like on TVs. They would put those kinds of labels on TVs.
If
and
you go
stuff.
to
It's like, what the
California, you
heck?
walk into a fast food restaurant, a Starbucks, whatever, that sticker is on everything because it's literally just California. California just they want to put their fingers in every pie they can, and so they're gonna make you get your shit certified and pay the fee or whatever to sell your product, and it's just
Well, because
California.
it's
Uh,
like table salt. Table salt is
yeah,
sodium and chlorine. Well, sodium explodes in water, and chlorine, if you ingest that, you die. Okay, but
literally
if you
poison.
combine
Yeah.
it, it's fine, right? But do they put
And
a
it
label on
enhances your
there?
food.
Yeah, do they put a label on it that
No.
says you could die if you eat this? No, because that's not how that works. It's just not.
Yeah. No, and there is I mean any like this is the other thing that pisses me off. There is lead in everything you consume. Because anything organic, plants, water, it's going to have trace minerals in it.
Fish has
And lead is a trace
mercury
mineral.
in it, and people eat that
Yeah.
all the time.
People. I'll see dudes, gym bros, go, "Yeah, dude, I ate nothing but tuna this week," and it's like, bro, like, slow down, man. You're gonna get mercury poisoning. Like, literally, they tell you, like, you should only, like, they
And
tell pregnant women no fish because there's
yes,
mercury.
yeah, and the thing is, so
Yeah.
and you're talking about like fish actually has like a significant amount of mercury in it. Like I think the whole lead thing with G Fuel, it's like trace amounts. It's like it's like talking
There's
about
yeah,
cyanide being in apple seeds. Like you're not gonna die from eating an
yeah,
apple, but there's cyanide in it. Just be aware of that. Like
yeah. So don't eat 40 apples in one sitting. You might
yeah,
end up in the hospital.
yeah, it's stupid. It's so dumb.
Yeah, no, there's a guy who he literally got lab work done. He drank like 2 servings of G Fuel a day for a full month. No change in his lead levels in his blood before and after. So that is a myth fueled by competition. Dude, business, like competition when it comes to business is ugly. All right, and you can't believe every stupid thing that some dumbass on the internet repeats because they have a there's people that have goddamn supercomputers like ours, and they can't even Google a simple thing to see that it's not
Yeah.
true. It's really, really sad, man, because it's not just G Fuel that's I want to get off this topic because I don't like talking about it just because it pisses me off, but there are so many things in life where I'm like, people's lives would be positively impacted by just Googling and seeing that some stupid thing somebody told them at lunch, or
Did you know that if you
while they
swallow
were
gum, it
drinking
doesn't come out of your
beers.
body until 7
Yeah,
years from
dude.
now?
Bro, you realize how stupid that is?
If you eat a pumpkin seed, a pumpkin will grow
No,
in your
you
tummy.
people are like, bro, you shouldn't eat so much red meat. Did you hear John Wayne when he died? They did an autopsy and they found like 20 pounds of meat in his colon, and it's like, do you realize what would happen to you if you had 20 meats of impacted or
20
20 pounds of
of meat.
impacted meat in your colon? Like you can't like
You can't poop.
you literally can't poop. Like you'll have other problems before you die. Like I don't know what he died from. It was probably like a heart problem or something. The guy obviously didn't like take care of his body, but the idea that like stuff like that, like people, I would say the most misinformation that I notice is always health related. People have no clue how the human body works, man. It is,
Yeah.
and dude, there's doctors who are taught if they are taught information in medical school that is outdated or funded or studies that
Well,
were funded by actual like businesses that don't want people to like sugar. Remember they blamed cholesterol or whatever, or fat or salt or there was so many things that the sugar industry like funded research to basically make it look like that was a problem.
Yeah.
That's where like maybe it was yeah, that's where like the
Super
whole
size me thing.
well
That-
yeah, but the fat free craze of like the
Oh,
80s
yeah.
and 90s and stuff like that was all because the sugar industry didn't want you to know that sugar was the reason that obesity was going
And-
up.
okay,
They were like,
so-
"Oh, it's fat. You're eating fat and you're fat. It makes sense, right?" Like
That's the thing, man. It's like not to get conspiratorial, but there's even been like instances where it's like, here's this medication that we want you to push, right? And they will like pay doctors to prescribe that, and it's like super addictive, right? And it's like,
yeah.
dude, there's like an actual like real negative effect of taking this drug, right? And then, for example, like isn't like morphine usually like a gateway to like getting addicted to like heroin? Isn't that like a known thing?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about the all I know is that the drug industry is like super corrupt.
Yeah,
But
it's messed up.
we should move on. We got other topics. And we're just like going off on stuff that's not even listed.
Schizo ranting.
So Chris wanted me to talk about how acting auditions compare to job interviews. And I would say they're similar but very different. So like when you do a job interview, you submit a resume. Sometimes you have like almost like a pre-interview.
Give you a call
know.
or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. But job interviews, you go in there and it's like the whole objective is to like see like like what kind of work ethic do you have, what kind of attitude do you have, like all these things that like how would you be to work with, right? Whereas an acting audition is almost the opposite. They want to see the character, they don't want to see you,
Wow.
right? Yeah, like that's simplifying it.
I mean,
Okay,
it's a
like
good way to
you,
explain it, though. Yeah.
yeah, but you do a slate, right? And that's basically like you go like Derek Bowder, 5'5", located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then the next clip is your audition.
5'5"
And
being your height. That's a lie.
No, it's not.
No.
My IMDb says 5'5", bro.
Does it really? Does that mean I'm 5'5"? Because I thought either we're the same height or I'm like an inch taller than you, right? I'm not. There's no way I'm 5'6".
I'm 5'5" when I wear boots.
Oh,
No.
okay. See, no shoes. I'm taller than you.
No shoes. I'm like right around 5'4".
Stand on my
5'3"
money.
and a
I'm
half.
6 feet.
When I stand on my booty, I'm taller than Shaq. No, not at all. What's it called? Oh, acting auditions though. But yeah. So like you do that, right? You do like the slate, and then you do the actual audition, and it is a very weird process. Like it's, I mean, they used to do in-person auditions where you would actually meet the people who are doing the casting. Like there would be like a casting director, maybe a casting assistant or two, maybe a producer. If you get far enough into the casting process where there's like callbacks and stuff, which is literally like, hey, we're thinking about you and maybe like, these 10 people. So they'll call those people back, and sometimes the director's there and stuff. So like when I did like this stuff for this feature film I was talking about earlier, it was the director who was like doing everything. But yeah, no, like the interaction that you used to have in person, going to an actual physical building and auditioning, is gone, because now it's all self tapes. You send in a tape, and so they don't really have a chance to like meet you. And so the way that you establish a relationship is like, let's say they're like, like they're a good actor, but they're not right for this role, or they pick somebody else. They'll see when you submit for another audition and be like, oh, I remember them. They're good. Let's give them this audition. And so like you'll start getting more auditions from the same casting directors. And that's how you kind of form a connection with that particular casting office. And so I'm starting to see that a little bit, especially with like local casting agencies here. But yeah, it is like the complete opposite of a job interview. And I've even heard Bryan Cranston say, don't go in there and act like it's a job interview. Go in there and act like you already got the job. Just do it. You know what I mean? Like you go in there and you don't want to come off desperate. They could tell when you're like trying too hard. They could tell when you're nervous, when you're uncomfortable. But if your character is nervous or uncomfortable, it can actually work out. But I feel like I've pretty much gotten rid of audition jitters. I think if I got a call back, I might still be a little nervous because that's new. But
what movie is it where like the actor was nervous like at the beginning, and then over time they got more comfortable, and so even though their character was supposed to be nervous the entire time, supposed to be like a very like I think like an awkward dude, because they got comfortable, it made their character like less accurate as time went on. There's like an instance of that happening. I think
I'm sure that
like
happens all the time.
Show, but like I think that's an interesting point. Yeah, where it's like sometimes your character needs to be nervous, and so if you come in and you're nervous, could be a benefit.
Well, I mean, I've always heard like whatever you are that day, embrace it. Somebody's like, oh, I had the flu. Guess what? Your character has the flu that day. But
meanwhile, you go to a job interview and you're all
yeah. I mean, like it depends on the audition too. They have different kinds of auditions. Like the audition I have tomorrow morning is it's 3 different co-star roles, and so a co-star role is like 1 to 5 lines, and so the whole objective is to literally like just serve the purpose of the story. You're not really there to like be a character. You're literally there to just move the scene along, and so it's almost like they don't want to see a character. They just want to see like I've heard the term interestingly boring is what they're looking for. They want you to be like boring but interesting. Like
don't take the spotlight away from the main person. Yeah.
Exactly. You're not there to do that. You're there to literally like be whoever they're interacting with for that little moment and like not distract from them. And so like I mean I've literally heard people say like yeah they told me I didn't get the audition because I look too much like the main actor and they don't want them to clash in the scene,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I mean, a big example of that. So I talked about the Fallout TV show last week. Um, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, no, the actress who plays Lucy in the Fallout show is really good, but it's like Walton Goggins like stole the show. Like
Oh,
he
100%.
yeah, and it's
100%.
like, I mean, granted, the
Would have been
show
happy if the
is
show was just about him.
yeah, the show is honestly really mainly about him because he's
It's the most character development, I feel
yeah,
like.
yeah, and so it's like that's kind of okay, but I could totally see that being a complaint people have about the show is like, isn't the show supposed to be about
Yeah.
all three of them? Or you could even say the show's supposed to be about Lucy because she's a vault dweller. Like
Yeah.
I could see that being a
Yeah.
legitimate concern. Yeah,
Well, and then other, every actor has their own like process, and I feel like I'm so new that I'm still kind of like just learning everything. Like I learn a little bit about like Meisner. I mean, method acting is the one people hear about the most, and method acting is probably the most extreme, method of acting. And like, I mean, there's a time and a place for each kind of thing. Like method acting is best for like when you're playing like a real character, or I mean, not a real character, a real person, like a biographical thing, like a biographic movie.
well,
Like
I
you're
mean,
playing Elvis, so you're gonna
yeah.
talk like Elvis and
Well, is it
eat the things
Christian?
that Elvis did, and
Did
Christian
Christian
Bale's a
Bale?
yeah,
Did he what? Was it Al Gore that he did a movie about? What was it? Who was it?
Dick Cheney,
Dick Cheney. That's what it was. I knew it was someone from that era. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and that I still need to see. What's that movie called?
Vice.
Vice. I
But
need to see that. Yeah.
I honestly like my thing is I usually just try to be myself in those given circumstances, but obviously like a character is going to use language that I normally don't, they might talk differently. Like I don't know, obviously the character traits matter. Like, oh, is this character shy or nerdy or athletic or outgoing? Like they give you like little things like that to try and help you with it. But yeah, no, the acting process is brutal. Like I don't think people realize that for every like role you see, there's like, anywhere from a couple hundred to in some cases literally like a couple thousand people who auditioned for that role or submitted and got rejected. And so the life of an actor is filled with rejection, and that's why a lot of people quit. That's why a lot of actors quit. They feel like they're never going to get picked. And it's usually right when people give up that they probably would have gotten something, because it's like a lottery, and you put in so many tickets, eventually chances are you're going to get picked for something. And once you get picked, with acting, it seems like once you get picked, you're more likely to get picked again next time. Like you build up momentum, and momentum can fall and rise, just like social media. So I think we talked about that long enough. This week's news story is pretty brief. Buckle up, baby. I don't know if this is gonna turn into anything, but we got to be very careful about the wording here. But H5N2 bird flu, first reported death in Mexico today. A 59-year-old. So somebody
Okay.
considered, is that elderly? Would you consider 59 elderly or middle aged?
I
65 and up is
that's
elderly, right?
I would say yeah, 65 and up is elderly, but that's
Borderline elderly.
still not like. I mean, when Michael Jackson died, he was like 50, right?
Yeah, but that was like drug related. So
Yeah, but my point is, it's like when you get to that age, like well, I would say once you get past 50, like you
it
should.
depends on how you've taken care of yourself, obviously.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, if you talk about like Joe Rogan,
a lot
Joe
of
Rogan's
factors.
like he's in pretty good shape. Um, but like I don't know. I think when you hit 50, it's like that's where it's kind of like, hey,
Yeah, but
be careful, you know.
so we'll keep an eye on that. See if there's any more developments over the next week. But
Personally, I would not be surprised if there was like pre-existing condition there.
I mean, they've talked about the bird flu being an issue for so long. Like they're like, eventually it's gonna jump to humans and we'll have a bad case or something. But it's possible that it could turn into another
Well,
worldwide
how
impacting
how many
illness.
people died from swine flu?
I don't know, but it was enough that people were like worried it was gonna be like this
Yeah,
last one was,
because they were
and like
they.
it was like I remember tracking it and going like, oh, it's gonna start.
I remember you freaking out about it. Me going to school every day and being like, "You guys hear about the swine flu?" And they're like, "What are you talking about? We're in second grade." It's like,
Sorry, I care about current events and what's going
yeah,
on because it can
yeah,
actually affect me.
yeah,
This last one affected everybody.
yeah. And that's the thing. So, I mean that, and then I remember when Ebola was a thing. That was when I was in middle school, and people were making jokes about it because they're like, "Oh, Ebola, yeah, okay." And like, I don't know how many people died from it, but it was like, if it did actually spread to a lot of people, it would have been really bad. Absolutely. But that was
Yeah,
there's always like something where they're like, "Oh, guys, be scared." And so it's like I know we kind of
I
have
think
the
it's better to be aware. I feel like though,
yeah, and
I
I
want to
get
sneak up on you.
we have a little bit of uh PTSD from it in that
I
like
don't I don't want to be the guy who's like, damn, we're out of toilet paper and there's a mad dash for it right now. I should have been prepared.
hey man, if you got two ply, you better start splitting it up. But but yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I keep an eye on it, yeah, but I don't think it'll turn into anything. We'll see. If I'm
I hope
wrong, you
not.
guys can laugh at me. It's fine.
I hope not. But I feel like people are way more aware of it because of that. But um, the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get to our movie and TV show recommendations for the week is I'm going on another surprise LA trip. Woo!
You should have just stayed over
Um,
there, dude.
I well, they paid for everything. Oh, by the way, I later this month, there's gonna be like 4 interviews to go up. I got to interview the cast of the Bike Riders. Uh, so I interviewed Tom Hardy, Austin Butler, Jodie Comer, Norman Reedus, writer director Jeff Nichols. It was pretty crazy, like pretty surreal. Well, I get to meet some of my like inspirations, I guess is a good word to use. Dude, it was so funny. Austin Butler was like, because they make me like look into the camera and they're like, say your name and like your outlet, and I'm like, Eric Bowder, Danny Dorito 23 on social media, and Austin Butler's like, Danny Dorito 23. I'm like, yep. But meanwhile, off camera, there's some lady. She's like, hurry up, 4 minutes. And I'm like, so let's talk to bike ride. I'm like, Bobby was like, you should have said like, yeah, that's Danny Dorito. Like, but I was like, really? In that moment, you would have been able to like. I was like, they
Yeah,
were literally like, hurry up. Like,
hindsight's 2020.
it was
Yeah,
stressful. It was
yeah,
stressful. But it was so much fun, man. I would love to do it again. So I hope I get to.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm going to LA again. I can't get into too many details. They asked me not to, but you can look on IMDb. I'm a co-producer on a film that's coming out later this year, or festivals later this year. And so I get to go to like a private screening, and that's in LA later this month. And while I'm there, we're going to Six Flags.
I'm not a roller coaster guy,
Excited.
but have fun.
Dude, I mean, Ben, Genie Boy, we gotta have him on when we hit episode 40. He is. I mean, when we go on roller coasters, he's just like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh fuck! Oh!" The whole ride, bro. You can just hear him behind you, like crying. But it's
That
so
sounds
much,
right.
but
That
he's
sounds
having
right.
fun. But it's exhilarating. Like.
No, dude. Quick thing about Genie Boy. I remember like he got
Oh,
back into
excuse me.
streaming for a little bit, and I remember he was playing he's playing like I think he played a little bit of Resident Evil, and then he played Warzone. And I remember I would go into his streams and I'd be like,
Oh, he
would
froze.
I froze?
Yeah, you froze for a second. Your
Oh,
camera's trying to catch up.
I'm
It's like delayed.
it's good on my end, so we're good. But
Yeah.
so I was like, would you rather drink pee that tastes like Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew that tastes like pee?
Please, no topics like
I
that.
would ask him questions like that.
God, dude. Like literal brain rot questions.
Yeah,
Well, dude, it drives me nuts when people are like Chipotle or Taco Bell, and I'm like, why do I even have to pick? We have both. It's not like there's ever any situation anytime soon where I'm going to have to go, man, I can never eat one of them again. What am I gonna do? I gotta pick one. Never
yeah.
gonna happen. Both, bro. Both.
Well,
Shove them both up your
okay.
butt.
See, here's the thing though.
Leave me alone.
What they
I
should
love
do
both
is they should
equally.
ask last meal. What would you eat?
Exactly. And I mean, I watch these videos where celebrities do their last meals, and they like cherry pick from like 3 or 4 different restaurants. It's not like they're having one place.
Yeah.
So let me have both Taco Bell and Chipotle, you assholes.
He's
What?
very passionate about this. He's very passionate.
I mean, Taco Bell, favorite fast food restaurant. Chipotle, favorite fast food casual restaurant. Favorite restaurant overall, like an actual sit down restaurant, Matucci's. If you ever come to Albuquerque, you have to try Matucci's. It's best They have really good Italian pizza.
I'm basic.
Really
I like Olive Garden.
It makes Olive Garden look like easy bake oven food.
Okay, but
Literally.
do they have breadsticks that are as good as Olive
Everything is made from scratch.
Garden? Okay, but I can take a turd
Made
out
to
of my
order.
butt.
You could tell them, hey, I want the. You could tell them like, hey, I want the cheese from this dish, but the noodles from this dish, and add this to it, and whatever, and the food is made to order. They will make whatever you want as long as they have the ingredients.
For my drink, can I have dishwater?
They have good Italian soda there too.
See, does Olive Garden even still do that? I remember we went one time and they
Probably.
didn't have it on the menu, so
But
that's
they
like a
probably do.
secret
but,
menu item, dude. Honestly.
Oh, it's on there.
Maybe.
It's on there. It's literally on there. People just don't look at the drink menu. They just go, "You guys got Coke or Pepsi?"
Yeah.
They order a soft drink.
Well, I hate when you go and you're like, can I get a cherry Pepsi? And they go, we don't have cherries. Can I give you grenadine? And I'm like, yes, dude. Like, just do it, man. I want cherry soda. Okay.
All we have is cough syrup.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Robitussin okay?
Buffalo Wild Wings kind of fell off. We've had this discussion before, I think. But the one thing that they still do great is they put actual cherries in the soda, and that is awesome. I love that.
Sonic does that too. If you go to Sonic, they'll do that.
Sonic makes me feel gross after I eat it, though.
I only want to go there. Yeah, their food, and I feel like, I think I got food poisoning from Sonic one time, from like chicken or something. So the food there, like, makes me nervous. So you got these snot-nosed high school kids who can barely ride their rollerblades making the food. Like,
yeah, yeah. They haven't graduated from Heelys yet. They haven't.
Hey, look, I'm making a TikTok. I'm gonna fart on my hand and slap the sandwich before I give it to the customer.
Did you hear about that guy who was slipping his mixtape into Happy Meals?
You just throw it away. Dude, if you ever go to a major city like New York, LA, Seattle, there are literally people who will be standing there and they're like, mixtape, they got their mixtapes and they hand it to you and you're like, take my mixtape, and it's like, oh, thanks, and they're like, well, you're gonna give me some money for it, right? You can't just take he's taking my mixtape, he's not gonna pay me for it. They will like put you in an awkward situation and make you feel like you gotta give them some money. It's crazy.
You just throw it back.
Crazy. Yeah, no, I just go, take your fucking mixtape, bro. I don't want that shit.
And then you hand it to them and you go, hey, you're gonna pay me for that? You're gonna pay me for your mixtape?
SoundCloud, man.
Yeah, dude. Well, actually, so okay.
Who has CD players anymore?
Well, I thought they usually it's called a mixtape. If it's on a CD, it's not a mixtape anymore because the word tape involves like a cassette tape. That's me being a little bit of a. Anyways, I'll stop.
Yeah,
Last
we gotta wrap this up. Movie, TV show recommendations of the week. You want to go first this week?
Sure. Yeah. So this is a.
You went first last week too. But...
Did I?
I think so.
Whatever. I am going to recommend that you guys see The Nice Guys. It's got Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and they are phenomenal in it. It's like one of my favorite movies. I would say like top 3 for sure. It's just like normally you see Ryan Gosling do very serious roles, and he's
R-rated comedy, man.
He is not serious in this, and it's awesome. It is.
Yeah.
seeing that much emotion from him and him just being a goober is amazing. I love
And
it.
it's Shane Black, so the humor is just. I mean, it's got the right amount of dark comedy to it, where it's not like it gets borderline over the top, but it's still like
Yeah, and I mean like the the time period that it's in, and just like the like that. Oh my God,
yeah, the time period's great.
I
70s, right?
yes, and honestly, if we're talking about movies that could use a sequel, I would totally
Oh
have a
yeah,
Nice Guys sequel. I
petition
would
to have a Nice
totally
Guys
would.
sequel. They said they don't know if it's gonna ever happen. I really hope it does. It didn't do great at the box office. It like made its money back, and Hollywood wants you to like double your money, get a sequel most of the time. Um, that would have been a great segue into my pick, but dude, I gotta say, man, I think my favorite scene in that movie is where Ryan Gosling's daughter in the movie
Mhm.
gives Russell Crowe a yoo-hoo, and the next scene is Russell Crowe coming up the stairs with like a
Oh, a
case of
case of
yoo-hoo.
it, yeah. I love that movie so much.
And I love how he like shakes it.
See, there are very few movies that I genuinely am like, I want to go rewatch that. That is one of those movies where I will rewatch it
Good one, man.
so
A
many
good
times.
one.
It's just so funny, dude.
Really fun plot too, like interesting
Yeah.
plot, gritty R-rated plot. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's R-rated. All right, no Coco Melon-esque kids watching that. It's not ready for it. That's only 17. My pick is Furiosa, and it makes me so sad that it bombed at the box office because it is exactly the type of movie that people complain they want. A good story, good characters, literally top-notch action from like start to finish. Like if you thought that the amount of action in Mad Max Fury Road was great, this is like I couldn't believe how much action was in this movie.
Is it the same director from
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
they've all been made by George Miller. Cinematography is phenomenal as usual. There is more CGI in this one, but it's necessary. Like the movie would have been $250 million instead of 168 or whatever if they didn't use that much CGI, because they do a lot of it practical and it's a lot of extras and stuff. But my hands down, my favorite performance ever from Chris Hemsworth. He's the villain, and he is just. I mean, I don't know, man. Sometimes the stars align, and you get a
Yeah.
performance that just like.
You know,
Honestly, man, that was like Oscar worthy, man.
that's the thing. There's certain actors who I feel like you see him in like the good guy role every time. It's I need to go see that movie now then, because I
Go
think it'd be
see
very
it. Go see it at the movie theater. You're gonna regret
very
not seeing it on the big screen.
refreshing to see Chris Hemsworth in a villain role. That sounds good to me.
I'm telling you, man. Go see that movie. You will not regret it, and it might be my favorite movie of the year. By the way, Chris, Civil War is on my Fandango if you want to watch it.
Oh yeah, I'll watch that while I'm taking a dump.
I think that movie is technically, like, from a technical standpoint, like, I love the style. I think it was mismarketed as a motherfucker. It's just like they have the Statue of Liberty on all the posters, and I don't think it's in the movie once. I'm just like, that's frustrating to me.
That's
If you
lame.
put it on the poster, it should be in the movie.
Doesn't Cloverfield
They literally
have
call it the movie.
Cloverfield has a Statue of Liberty in like the cover, right?
Yeah, and that's
And-
actually in the
and
movie.
yeah, it's
That
actually
head
in the
comes
movie,
flying down
yeah.
the street. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so-
go see Furiosa, man, and watch The Nice Guys. That's a great
I
one that you
love
can
that
watch at
movie
home
so
right
much.
now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's anywhere, but Furiosa, go see it at the movie theater. If you love movies, you want to support cinema, you don't want movie theaters to die overnight, because movie theaters are dying. That's another topic we can talk about later, but go
Yeah.
support Furiosa. I do not want to hear a single person say, they don't make good movies anymore. Yes, they do. You dumbasses just don't go see them. You got to go see the movies that you want to see. Like if your first time watching Furiosa is on an iPhone, you're a disgrace. A disgrace, man.
I
That
can't-
movie
I-
is meant to be seen on the big screen.
I don't think I've ever like willingly watched a movie on a phone. Like the only time I've ever done that is I think I watched War Games during I think it was like my it was like American pop culture class in high school. I was watching it on my phone because I had no work to do. That's like the
Yeah,
only time I've ever watched a movie on my
yeah,
phone. And honestly, that's a movie that's okay to watch on your phone.
yeah. But go watch Furiosa. Check out The Nice Guys. It's a great comedy. And buy some G Fuel. Seriously, you won't regret it. Use G Fuel code Danny D for that discount. Get a Danny Dorito shaker while you're at it. All right, support your boys. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Later.